Thanks to Ford for powering our CES coverage.
What's up, everyone? Jon Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here. We're in the bowels of the Venetian Hotel at CES 2012. AT&T's Developers Summit just wrapped up and they announced a ton of new stuff. You probably saw it all on technobuffalo.com. If you're watching the live stream, you may have seen a familiar face host it, but I want to recap everything that got announced. So I'm going to read all of my notes on my Galaxy Note, coincidentally, which we're going to talk about this guy. All right, so first they talked about the PS Vita. The thing we've all been waiting for is coming February 2nd. If you want to get a 3G enabled version, AT&T will be carrying it. There are no contracts required for the data, 2 plans. 250 megabytes for $14.99 a month, or 2 gigs for $25 per month. And then they brought the thunder with the devices, and they announced a ton of devices. First, Sony took the stage and they let us know that they are getting rid of that Ericsson branding. They're absorbing Ericsson, and phones are now going to be just Sony. They announced the Sony Xperia Ion. You've heard this phone be rumored for a while. It's nice to not have to say Ericsson anymore. So the Ion is going to launch in the second quarter of 2012. It's got a 4.6-inch HD display, 12 megapixel camera, 1.5 gigahertz dual-core processor, Android 2.3, and as everybody keeps saying, ice cream sandwich will be coming, and it will be coming to the Ion as well, according to Sony. Next, Samsung took the stage, and Samsung brought a ton of stuff. First, they announced the Samsung Galaxy S2 Skyrocket HD, which is essentially the Skyrocket 2. Essentially, it's the initial Skyrocket with a newer HD Super AMOLED display. So the specs of that, in case you want a refresher: 4.65 HD Super AMOLED display, 1.5 gigahertz dual-core processor, and it's going to be coming in the coming months. And of course, LTE. All these phones are rocking AT&T's newly released and in the wild 4G LTE network with HSPA Plus on the backside in case you fall down or you're not in an LTE network. Next, they announced, well, this guy. The Samsung Galaxy Note is going to be coming to AT&T Wireless, and for a spec refresher, it is a monster. You can even read my notes on the Galaxy Note right there. It's a 5.3-inch display. You can see as I'm reading it. I gotta look at it with you though. It's a 5.3-inch display, Super AMOLED HD. It's got a 1280 by 800 resolution. It's gonna be available in blue or white, and sort of a bluish black, a navy blue, if you will. It's going to be exclusive to AT&T, and of course it'll have LTE. It's got this sort of, don't call it a stylus, S Pen. It's not a capacitive stylus. It's not a resistive screen like you saw on the old Windows mobile phones. It takes advantage of Wacom technology, so you can write and doodle, and there's a button that will allow you to take screenshots and do all kinds of other features. And these APIs for the S Pen are going to be open so developers can create new stuff for it. We'll go ahead and put that back away. Samsung also announced the Samsung Exhilarate. It's made from all recycled materials, and they're bringing LTE to the masses at a lower price point. This is going to be a sub $50 phone. Going to be running Android, 4-inch Super AMOLED display, and of course all the stuff you'd expect with the phone, front and rear cameras. And then Pantech took the stage, and Pantech brought a lot of Pantechiness, and they brought a ton of devices. The first one was a Pantech Element. It's a waterproof tablet, and I cannot wait to get this in the Techno Buffalo offices to test. I can promise you there will be super soakers and there'll be pools involved. When someone claims something's waterproof, we got to put it to the test. 1.5 gigahertz dual-core processor. It's got an 8-inch XVGA display. It's got something called enhanced tactic feedback. It's going to be $300 on contract, so relatively lower priced for a tablet. It's going to launch January 22nd. Android 3.2 on board, and it'll have 16 gigs of storage. And then next was the Pantech Burst, and that is going to be available on January 22nd. AT&T is doing a limited time promotion. If you can get the Burst and the Element for a 2-year contract for $249, you get a phone and a tablet all rolled into one package. It's got a 4-inch Super AMOLED display, LTE, 2 colors. It'll be available in titanium and ruby red. And then we got away from Android. We talked about Windows Phone, and Steve Ballmer came up on stage and was so excited in his Ballmer ways. He felt like he wanted just to high-five everyone and go around with the tap on the butt. Guy just got a lot of energy. You could definitely feel that energy. And he announced talked about the commitment that Microsoft has with AT&T and the Windows Phone. And then HTC came out and they announced a successor to my daily driver, the HTC Titan, the appropriately named HTC Titan 2. And the 2 adds a couple things. You get LTE, first of all, which is great. It is running Mango. Then you get a 16 megapixel camera on the back, which replaces the 8 megapixel sensor that we had on the previous version. So you're getting a megapixel thunder thrown in there. The back is a little bit different. It got rid of that metal feel. It's now got a soft touch, rubber-esque feel to it. So let me rerun the specs of the Titan. Some of it's going to be pretty familiar to the original model. So it's got a 16 megapixel camera, LTE, a 1.5 gigahertz Qualcomm built processor, and that's a single core processor. And the rest of the stuff that you'd expect from the Htc Titan 2, that 4.7 inch, or 4.65 inch screen, so you got a lot of real estate, 480 by 800 display. Then Stephen Elop from Nokia came on, and they teased the announcement of the Lumia 900, which they announced at their own press conference, and that is a full recap, and I can exhale, of everything that was announced today from AT&T. Stay tuned to Techno Buffalo for all the news and everything that's going to be coming. I am Jon Rettinger from, well, you guessed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
Sync Services brings a wealth of information to your car with simple voice commands. Sync will help you figure out the best route to take by giving you up-to-date traffic reports along the way. Sync Services will use your GPS location and let you know if it's time to look for an alternate route, and with its 14 million different business listings, Sync could find you a different business altogether. Thanks to Ford for powering our CES coverage.